let's talk about protein real quick. Protein. What are some of the misconceptions, some of the misunderstandings that people have about protein?
All right. Well, there's a lot, man. Generally, I don't think people understand what proteins are. Generally speaking, but as far as I could tell you, man, if something is gonna grow, it's gotta have protein in it. So you're gonna get protein from plants. You're gonna get it from animals as well. So it really doesn't matter. Protein is it's there. It's in food. And in as far as research goes, there's never been a person in the Western Hemisphere that have been deficient of protein. Mm-hmm. That has never happened at all in Western societies. So being that I am vegan, and I always get the question, where do you get your protein from? Where do you get your protein from? I'm like, yo, protein is probably the easiest thing to get, you know what I'm saying? Because everything you eat is gonna have some kind of protein. Everything. Nothing grows without protein.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Based on organic chemistry, it's gonna have protein if it grows. Because protein basically in your body is for structure. That's one thing. It's for transport, and it's also used as enzymes to, you know, for different metabolic processes in your body. So protein is there. You're gonna get it. That's something you don't have to worry about at all. You know what I'm saying? So don't even worry about protein, folks.
Don't worry about it.
Nah, don't worry about it at all.
So here's another thing. I mean, there was a question that was asked on my Facebook, and the person asked, why is it that many people think that vegans are malnourished? I mean, even though we're you know, not just talking about vegans specifically, but since, you know, I'm talking to you right now, why is it that people think that vegans are malnourished? They don't get enough nutrients, you know, as far as amino acids are concerned. Right. You know, they're like a lot of the plant-based foods, you don't get the essential building blocks for, you know, protein, well, amino acids, aka.
Right, that's not even true though, because I mean, I came from 155 pounds as a vegan, and I'm like 200 pounds now. It takes protein to do that, you know what I'm saying? But I think most of it is industry based. It's not necessarily fact. It's not fact at all. It's more industry based. You know, somebody wants you to buy meat and stuff, so they're gonna tell you stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a guy from Germany. He holds records for being the strongest man on the planet.
You know,
and
strong
he's vegan. Right. He's been vegan for a while now. So as far as not getting enough protein as a vegan, that's a myth. I mean, you eat a cup of lentil, you basically get all the protein you want. But I would say there are, as far as plant-based protein goes, there are some proteins that you're gonna get the 9 essential amino acids from. Some are gonna be a little deficient.
I was just about to ask.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are gonna be high, some of them are gonna be low. So what? You eat soybeans with some lentils, or you eat soybeans with some hemp seeds. Hemp seeds in itself is a complete protein. So, and it doesn't, it could be, you could also put it in the way that your body's gonna use what it needs, really. So even if you eat
everything
like,
else is just extra.
it's waste. You know what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter. So as far as vegan protein goes, it's just as easy as a carnivore would get it. It's no different, really. You know, but the thing with vegan proteins, you don't have to worry about getting extra cholesterol. You don't have to worry about getting too much. You don't have to worry about trans fat, as in beef. You don't have to worry about
trans fat, the worst type of fat.
It's crazy.
Don't eat it, guys. That's the worst type of fat. We gotta talk about that one time as well. I did write an article about trans fat, but since you mentioned it, I just want to hop on there real quick. Trans fat, avoid it. There's no nutritional value, nothing you can gain from trans fat. I mean, there are healthy fats. Obviously, fat is important for, you know, hormone production, regulation, and whatnot.
Certain
and
vitamins don't work.
Exactly, you have to absorb it through fat. So fat, you must have fat.
You need fat.
Fat is essential. But yeah, you know,
but there are better fats. There are good fats. There are bad fats.
There you
know what I'm saying? Too much saturated fats is another issue that you get a lot from animal products that basically have protein. You know what I'm saying? So that is something that we have to look at when we're trying to look at nutrition on a whole, because whether you're training or not, your goal has to be healthy regardless.
That should be the overall goal. If your only goal is to lose weight, I mean, you know, get a six-pack and whatnot, that's not sufficient.
Right, so what is the point getting, let's say, all your protein from a certain source, but besides getting the protein, you're getting so much other stuff that you don't really need. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting
Empty
something.
calories.
Exactly. You're getting something done, but then you compromising something else. You know what I'm saying? Health has to be a balance in the nutrients that you're gonna take in.
Now, let's talk real quick about, slow acting proteins and then, the fast acting, the rate of digestion. Should there be a specific type of, protein? Matter of fact, let's just break that down real quick. The different types of proteins, they digest at a different rate. So like someone who's not a vegan, beef, for example, we know that takes a while to, break down. Is there a benefit to eating different types of proteins? What would you say to that?
I think that's overrated.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's way overrated.
So it doesn't, you don't think it holds great significance, really?
No, I don't think so. At all.
Yes.
Bodybuilders generally are more into that type of stuff. But as a bodybuilder, that's all he does. His life is based around his training and his eating. So you with a 9 to 5, a regular guy, or a regular girl, why bother with all that technical stuff? You basically just trying to get by and be healthy. Whether it's a slow protein or a fast, it has nothing to do with health. It has more to do with if you're a bodybuilder, you have this competition coming up, you got to worry about those things. But if you are
nutrient timing
and all that stuff, which I don't even think is that important at all.
Yeah, to the average person is really,
and those things are very irrelevant. I don't think a regular person needs to worry about all that stuff. It just makes it more difficult,
especially for the beginner.
For the beginner, because you got a beginner who's trying to be more conscious about their health, need to understand what a protein is. Most people don't even understand what a protein is.
Not even a calorie.
Right. People think that you eat, for example, a protein source and it's just gonna go through your system and get to your muscles. That's not what happens at all. Your body has to break it down into individual amino acids. And then if your muscle needs certain amino acids at that time, it will use it. If it don't need it, it can't use it. So the whole thing about just consuming protein and think it goes from your stomach straight to your muscle, that's a myth. You would get sick if your body, absorb a whole protein. You would have an allergic reaction to it. That could actually kill you. You know what I'm saying? So that is another thing that's crazy out there. I think folks
overthinking, they overcompensate. It's not that important. I mean, and how much protein can you eat in one sitting before hyperamino acidemia?
Yeah.
So that crazy word there.
Right.
Hyperamino acidemia. There we go. Sets in.
Yeah, your body know what it's doing, man. It's gonna take what it needs. If it doesn't need it, there's not much you could do with it. You know what I'm saying? It's might just end up causing other issues in your system. So it's better to just. I'm not a big fan of protein powders either. I think it's always best to get what you need from food. You can't go wrong with food. Protein powders, your body is not gonna recognize it like it would recognize some food.
Especially for the average person. I mean, once again, we're talking about the normal person who's just trying.
We ain't talking bodybuilders and those guys.
Yes, that's a totally different story.
Exactly. Somebody who goes to work in the morning, come back home in the evening time. That's who I represent. I don't represent bodybuilders. They're on some other level. You can't follow them. You're gonna fall off if you try following them.
That is their job.
That is their job. That's all they do. You know what I'm saying? They don't have 9 to 5 like you. They don't have to worry about kids that much like you. And even if they do, it's based around their job. It's just their job to do that. So you can't follow them and thinking that. And I know bodybuilders personally, pros, who have told me they don't depend on protein powders. For them, that's like whatever. They depend on food. You have to depend on food. Your body works best with food. All that other stuff is really not that important. The only purpose I think a protein powder could have, but then you have to be on an advanced level. If you get a little too busy and you can't get your macros in right, all right, I'll take a shake here and there, maybe if you're busy and stuff. But to depend on those things, it's nonsense, and it's a waste of money as well. They ain't even cheap. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree. Again, myself, all my macros and my micros come from whole food, and I mean, a decent physique can be achieved by eating that and working out hard for an extended period of time. What I hate is when people come up, I know you get this all the time too, and ask, man, summer's coming up. And I use this example all the time because this is what people really tell me all the time. Like, man, summer's coming up 2 weeks from now. How can I get a six-pack? I'm like, come on, man, that's disrespectful to the people who put in that time, who've been doing that for years, put in that time, working out for years to achieve the physique that they have. That didn't happen. Come on, man, 2 weeks, let's get real.
Right. But then there's this other factor that plays into that. The media tells you could do it, and we
sheep.
Right, a community. We basically, believe everything we see and hear in the magazines.
Without searching for validation and, verify if that information is in fact correct. Once it's on the internet, people automatically believe, it has to be true.
Yep, it's on TV, it's the same thing. But I will always say we live in a society that's profit-based. So even if I gotta lie to you and you die tomorrow, that has nothing to do with me, because all I want is your money, man.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important that people, think outside of that, you know what I'm saying, and try to see what really happens. Look around you, if everybody could have gotten a six-pack just like that, then hey, TV would be right. But you look around, you don't really see it happening. So why trust in that? You know what I'm saying? It's better to do the right thing and forget about hitting shortcuts and shit. There's no shortcuts,
man. Forget the shortcuts. There's no. If you want to attain a goal of value, forget the shortcuts.
Forget shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to health.
None at all. Especially for, like I said, value, high value. You can't. I just got the car pass real quick to make sure the sound. Yeah, you can't take any shortcuts to that. So now, let's say someone doesn't know, how to proportion macros, blah, 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 the proteins. Proteins are essential, especially after you come from workout, you're gonna need that. So, what I would recommend, instead of going and, let me calculate 30 grams here, blah, 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 hand proportions. Have you heard of that? Like proportioning the size with your hands. How would you recommend that people go about? Is it highly important that they proportion their macros? Let's hear what you have to say about that.
Well, it depends on their level. Like if it's a total beginner, I think you should just focus on eating food. My
food that is healthy, not the food that you've been eating.
That's what I'm getting at, though.
Exactly.
My general rule for people who just come in is like, because a lot of people, they just want to lose weight.
Exactly.
So you avoid the stuff that really cause you to put on the most weight, which is sugar and processed food.
Sugar.
You know what I'm saying? Like sugar is just,
cut that out completely, you'll see.
Just cut it out. Try for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, cut out sugar. You're gonna see so much difference in your body.
Initially it will be difficult, of course. Your body has that craving for it.
Exactly. But fitness, health, it has to be a lifestyle. It has to be first, you know what I'm saying? You can't even be the best you could be if you're not fit, you know what I'm saying? And there are certain things that you might be going through in life, and it's directly related to your level of fitness or your level of health or whatever. You might not realize it, but there's a lot of things. You might think a certain way because your body's not getting certain nutrients and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to get those things in. But as beginners, I typically just tell them, hey, general rule, avoid sugar and try to stay away as much as from processed food, because processed foods are going to be way too high in sodium. And, a lot of them have sugar as well, which are the biggest thing with storing body fat is sugar. It's not anything else. Sugar is the main thing that causes to store body fat and stuff.
That's
so
right.
if you could cut that out.
Insulin, the body's ability to utilize the, insulin and whatnot. Because people who don't work out, let's say a pre-diabetic desk worker, use this example. People are like, oh man, carbs make you fat, blah, blah, blah. No, carbs is not if you eat too much of anything it will make you fat. Yeah. That is not carbs. Carbs are essential for energy. We'll talk about, carbs in depth another time. Right now we're focusing on the protein. But just to say all that stuff connect, they connect together. Right. It's not the carbs that make you fat. It's not the fat that makes you fat. It's not the protein. It's too much of any, thing that you eat. Overall calories, again, it comes down to calories. Calories are potential energy that your body uses from, various food sources. So if you're taking too much calories, potential energy, and give your body no incentive to use it, you're not exercising, you're not working out, your your body's not going to use it, and it's going to store fat. You know, obviously the insulin's job to carry that.
Yeah, that's all it does.
That's what it is, and you know, you're giving all that your body, all that insulin, and it doesn't need it. So where is it going to store it?
Exactly.
You understand? It's not going to use it, so it's going to store it.
Yep. So yeah, man, that's, you know, we just gotta be intelligent with how we eat and stuff.
Do your due diligence, man.
Yeah,
Figure out.
man. You know, don't depend on the media, man. You can't depend on a food company that's throwing commercials at you all the time. You know, it's not in your benefit. That's the biggest thing for me. I would like people to understand. Those things are not in your benefits and in your benefit. And if you look around you, you're gonna see for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's so many different diets going around and stuff, but we still have that issue. We still have people who are not in shape. We still have people who are way overweight for years and years and years, you know what I'm saying? So something is wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? If you're getting that information and it's so good, why aren't we seeing more changes in our society with people, man? Just stand at one corner and look at people pass. You're gonna see a lot of people, they're just not where they're supposed to be. I don't have a problem with people who are big. My issue is, if you are too big, it's a health risk for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my concern. I would love you regardless. You could be 1,000,000 pounds. I'm gonna love you, but it's not a healthy thing. It's not a place that you want to be if you really want to, you know, put your health into it. You don't want to be that way because it's just not healthy. That is my issue with those things. You know what I'm saying? And people should do more in doing better. Turn the TV off for a sec. You know what I'm saying? 5 minutes. Turn it off 5 minutes and try to figure out some scientific research. You can't depend on TV and so it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? It's just about that money.
About that money. And you know, just to recap, you know, real quick. So let's just, you know, touch on some important points. How important is protein for, you know, the development of the body?
Protein is important, but not in the way that most people think. People think that protein is important to build muscle. It does that as well, but protein is important as an enzyme for chemical reactions. Your body is just a big bowl of chemical reactions. Protein plays a really big role in that, you know what I'm saying? Protein plays a role in transport, you know what I'm saying? Like LDLs, low density lipoproteins, you know what I'm saying? HDL, high density lipoproteins. It's protein based, you know what I'm saying? So protein plays a lot of roles in your body. Protein is not just for muscle. That's one of its functions in your body, but that's not, as a matter of fact, amino acids, because proteins are made from amino acids.
The building blocks of protein are amino acids.
We're gonna do a video specifically on that one time.
We will definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So protein has a lot of functions in your body, but I think it's very overrated at the same time. And the reason why I say that, because it's so easy to get. I don't get why.
I forget my phone.
Cool. I don't get why, you know, we put all this emphasis on protein it's so easy to get. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there have not been a case where in the Western hemisphere where you find people who are protein deficient, whether they're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, omnivore, whatever. It doesn't exist in the world or in society in the West where we're from. So that is just not an issue at all. So we have to think of that. You know what I'm saying? I know people who barely eat, but they still function just as well. You know what I'm saying? But be aware of that. Protein is very overrated, man. You eat your regular meals, you're gonna get all the protein you need. If you're training, you train more and more and more, then your body's gonna, you know, need more and more nutrients. But it's not just protein. It's gonna need more vitamin C. It's gonna need a little more fat. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna need a little more carbs. It's gonna need a little more of everything because you're way more active. That's just what it is, you know. But you don't need to go buy a tub of protein. I saw a lady today. She's like 250 pounds overweight, and she bought a mass gainer. You know what I'm saying, for herself. That is just gonna make it worse for you. You know what I'm saying? So
education. I mean, educating yourself. Number one, I mean, educating yourself on your body and, you know, the anatomy, the function, your physiology. You need to know this,
right?
Because I mean, only if you don't know what you don't know, that's what it comes down to. If you don't know, you don't know. You can't fix a problem that you're unaware of. I mean, just example, cancer. If you have cancer, just because you don't know you have it doesn't make it any less, real.
Right,
It's
right.
destroying you. You may not know, you feel, some type of way, you're like, oh man, I kind of feel, sick, but just because you don't know, you're not consciously aware that the cancer is there destroying you does not make it any less real. So the problem is real, the problem is very real, don't get me wrong. The problem is real, but if you don't know, and that's why you have to constantly be seeking, information, and valid information, and you gotta, once again, like I said, you gotta do your due diligence, you have to understand, is this valid, by backing it up with research, asking questions, asking the people who know, asking the professionals in that area, and having them confirm, and don't just take their word for it. If you get consistent answers across the board, you can kind of draw the conclusion that okay, this seems to be correct. Multiple people have got results following what this this person saying, that person saying, but at the end of the day, you have to apply and see what works for you. Everybody is different.
Everybody.
The principle may be the same, like I always say, the principle may be the same, but the actual, plan of execution and how you go about doing it is what will, determine how your results will come out.
I mean, your health is yours, man. You shouldn't put it in anybody's hands. Not a doctor, not a trainer, not anybody. Man, you should learn from these people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You should scrutinize your trainer, ask him as much questions as possible, so you know for yourself. Because for one, you can't pay a trainer forever. So if you have a trainer, you should try to learn as much as you
can while you're with them. Ask questions, ask. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
That's why they're there.
Scrutinize. And I think personally that would make them better. Because if you ask them something and they don't understand, they should go figure it out. If they don't do that, for me, they're not optimizing themselves.
And they're not trying to help you.
And they're not trying to help you as well.
They're not on your side.
You know what I'm saying? So you should definitely take your health in your hands. I mean, it's your body walking around, you know what I'm saying? No, but you're the one who's gonna understand it the best. But you need to take steps into, trying to figure you out, you know what I'm saying?
How your body works, and that's the thing, just finding, and that's why time should never be, one of the biggest, it shouldn't be a factor at all, honestly. And if time is a factor, it should just be to gauge your progress.
Right.
That's what I would say. So I mean, everything in moderation. I won't say time, you should eliminate the factor of time completely. But time, people are like, oh, how long did it take you to get that? Forget that. That shouldn't be the question that you're asking. What the question should be, what do I have to do to get there? What do I have to do? Finding that is an actual solution, looking towards fixing that problem. Once you know the problem, that's it. You found that you know what the problem is. Now it's time to find the solution and stop going over and over the problem constantly. You get the problem, boom, that's it. Get the problem, now you focus on finding the solution.
Yeah, man.
That's what you should be looking to do from that point once you're aware of what the problem is.
Right, yeah. Your health is yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else, There's this guy, he met me in the gym and he was like, yo, what do you do? How do you look that way? I'm like, all right. I don't need sugar, I don't need that, I don't do this, So he asked me, yo, how much is it gonna cost to train me? I said, okay, I gave him the price. He was like, yo, that's expensive, but I wanna check his shoes out. He's wearing Jordans, and then he left the gym, he jumped in a brand new Mercedes Benz. So he drives to the
I'll never understand it, man.
To the, how they call it? The gas station, right? And he puts that premium gas in there. And then he walked inside and he bought cigarettes, right?
Man.
But
see priorities, man.
Yeah, and then when you look at the pack of cigarettes, it says smoking kills. But he smokes it anyway. But I know if it said, yo, if you smoke this, it's gonna mess your engine up. He would never smoke cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? And then he goes to I don't like calling names, and then he goes to the fast food joint and then he buys that garbage, you know what I'm saying? And then he puts it in his stomach, but he just put that premium gas, in his car. So, you know what I'm saying? My thing is, what are you about as a human being? You about yourself, or you about everything else but yourself? You know what I'm saying?
And eventually it's gonna catch up to you. I mean, maybe right now you're not worried, oh man, I'm feeling good, I could eat this, I could do that, and nothing will happen to me. But eventually, I mean, it's only a matter of time before everything catches up on you. And here's the thing about people. Only when a crisis, it takes the doctor telling you, oh man, we found cancer. Oh man, you have diabetes. It takes that for people to take the action, the initiative, to change their lifestyle. People don't think things can happen to them until it happens. That's the fact of the matter. And so why wait till you get till there, man? And I mean, honestly, sometimes that's really the only thing that can change people's, you know, action.
Right.
No, the only thing that could get people to take action, you know, because they're really not taking any action. If they are taking action, it's action in the opposite way. They're running away from it.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, if you're doing all that stuff, damaging your body, smoking, you know, you're going in reverse. You're not staying in one place. You're going further back than, you know, the place. Even if you weren't in a good place to begin with, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
and you're moving back. So
you have to study all these things. You have to study the food industry. You know, it's important to note that most of the food companies, they have the most expensive labs in the world.
they know what they're doing, man.
And it's only to manipulate your taste buds. So you have to be aware of all these things, man. Like, don't you like, hey, I just ate 5 of that and then I can't get enough. I gotta eat 10 more and then damn, I still want 10 more.
Food is an addiction.
What's up with that? You have to be thinking like, why do I keep wanting these things all the time? You know what I'm saying? But it's not just things that happen. They study that stuff. They study your taste buds. They study the chemical structure of your taste buds. You know, and they put that certain things in the food specifically to manipulate that, so you keep coming for it and coming for it and coming for it. You know what I'm saying? And they do it, they going so fast, they're manipulating your body to eat certain things so much because they have their business plans and they're already thinking about your kids that's gonna be born. So if I could do this to your food now to get your kids addicted while they're in your stomach, that's what they do. So it's not something that's as simple as you think. It's something that have billions of dollars have been put in that type of research and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Just to manipulate you, your taste buds, and to keep you coming. Like I always say, man, to get that money. That's
So, you know, just wrapping up, the camera cut off there, don't got a lot of memory. So just wrapping up, next, I mean, that we could go in depth about, you know, any information that you guys want to know more about with really anybody. And so next time we're gonna, you know, talk about maybe the visceral fat versus subcutaneous. So different types of fat, not all. I mean, when I talk about that, I'm talking about what's on your body.
But you said the 6-pack fat.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
The organs fat.
There you go. The 6-pack fat and the